What if Earth had rings like Saturn? Imagine walking out your front door one evening and looking up, not at a blank stretch of sky, but at a glowing arc stretching from one end of the horizon to the other. Bands of light shimmer overhead like a giant celestial halo. This is what life on Earth could be like if our planet had rings like Saturn. To be visible from Earth, the rings would need to be massive, tens of thousands of kilometers across, made up of billions of icy particles and rocky fragments. Unlike the Moon, which appears as a single sphere, Earth's rings would be vast and wide, forming luminous arcs that stretch across the sky. In places near the equator, they'd be most dramatic, a jaw-dropping sight etched into the sky day and night. In fact, they'd be so bright they could outshine the Milky Way, especially during dusk and dawn. But the rings wouldn't look the same from every location. From the poles, they'd vanish completely, hidden in edge-on view like a thin razor across the sky. In places like Ecuador or northern Brazil, though, they'd dominate the heavens, filling the sky with shimmering arcs, glowing softly by sunlight during the day and reflecting moonlight by night. Cities might have to install special ring shields to reduce the constant glow. Astronomers? They'd have to deal with a nightmare. Imagine trying to peer into the deep universe through massive rings that scatter light in every direction. Observatories would either have to relocate to ring-free zones, maybe the Moon, or develop new tech to filter out the interference. Stargazing as we know it, probably dead. And think of the stories we'd tell. The rings would enter mythology, art, and culture. Instead of painting sunsets, artists would obsess over ring light, the way rings refract and split sunlight into shimmering colors. Superstitions would grow. Married under the rings would be the most sacred vow. Wars might even have been fought over ring visibility. Who gets the better view? Who controls the heavenly crown? But it wouldn't all be beauty and poetry. Rings could be dangerous. Any object orbiting Earth has the potential to fall. The larger chunks in the rings might occasionally spiral downward, burning through the atmosphere like meteor showers, but with greater frequency and potential for damage. Cities might need permanent shields or orbital defenses just to handle the falling ring debris. Worse still, satellites would be in trouble. Our modern world, GPS, internet, weather tracking, all depends on delicate equipment floating just above Earth. If rings existed in the same orbital zone, they'd either shred our satellites to pieces or force us to build massive protective structures in orbit. Space travel would be infinitely more complicated, with astronauts navigating through a minefield of icy rocks every time they launched. The Moon would be cast into strange shadows. As it passed behind the rings, its light would flicker, sometimes disappearing entirely. Ancient civilizations might have interpreted this as the Moon being eaten or washed by the sky river. Lunar eclipses would look like scenes from a fantasy novel, light bending, scattering, and painting the Moon in surreal colors. And then there's the question, how do we get rings in the first place? Maybe a long-lost moon drifted too close to Earth and shattered under our planet's gravity, its remains forming a ring system. Or maybe a passing asteroid billions of years ago slammed into Earth's early satellites, grinding them into cosmic dust. Either way, our skies would carry a permanent reminder of celestial violence. So would it be worth it? Maybe. The rings would be beautiful, yes. Awe-inspiring. A constant connection to the cosmos. But they'd also remind us just how fragile our grip on space really is. They would be symbols not only of wonder, but of chaos, history, and the ever-turning wheel of the universe. In the end, if Earth had rings like Saturn, we wouldn't just look at the sky. We'd live inside art. Every moment of every day,